This is the part 5 of .NET Core interview questions. In this part, we will discuss about the service lifetimes of an object in ASP.NET Core. Here are the questions which we will see in this part. What are the types of service lifetimes of an object instance in ASP.NET Core? What is AddSingleton method? What is AddScoped method? What is AddTransient method? So let's start with the first question. What are the types of service lifetimes of an object instance in ASP.NET Core? The service lifetime controls how long a result object will live for after it has been created by the container. Now let's try to understand what this statement says. For example, when a request will arrive at the server, then it will create some objects, right? Now the life of those objects depends on the way the object is created. The objects can be created in three ways. The three ways are AddSingleton, AddScoped, and AddTransient. So let's see the types one by one in upcoming questions. So basically, service lifetime is nothing but the life of the object during a request is the service lifetime. You can say service is the object here. Now let's see the next question. What is AddSingleton method? AddSingleton method create only and only one instance when the service is requested for first time. And then the same instance will be shared by all the different HTTP requests. Here in the diagram also you can see in the singleton case only one instance is created during the whole application lifetime. Let's try to understand with the help of an example. Suppose you create an application and you want to log all exceptions in a text file. This is the sample text file for logging. Now what you will do, once a request will arrive, you will write the code that if any exception occur, then open this text file and write the exception inside this text file, correct? But for any other request, you will not open the text file again. Rather, you just use the same opened file and append the new error. With that said, in this case, you are opening the text file with one request but using the same open text file in another request. So same request, same object has been shared by two requests. So that is the example of AddSingleton instance. With one object, you are opening and writing the file in one request, and then with the same object, you are writing the file in another request. So two requests again sharing the same object. If you know the singleton design pattern, then it is almost similar. Here in the diagram, you can see singleton instance. It will exist till the end of the application, and it does not depends on any particular request 1, 2, 3, any. Here is the code of how you can add the logger with the AddSingleton method. The iLogger is the interface here and the logger is the class. For understanding it in detail why we created interface, you have to check the dependency injection part of this course. Now in next question we will discuss AddScoped method. What is AddScoped method? AddScoped method creates single instance per request. For every individual request, there will be a single instance or object. In the diagram, you can see one instance has been created for request 1 and another instance is created for request 2. Let's take an example. For example, there is a payment class in your application, or you can say payment server. When a client will send a request one, then inside the server, the object of payment class will be created. But then you do not want this payment object or instance of this request one to be shared with the other user or client request 2 or 3. You do not want this object to be shared. In this case, you will use AddScoped method. That is quite simple. In the screenshot, you can see how to use AddScoped method with payment class. Remember, AddScoped is the most used method out of all these three methods. So if you are confused which one to use in your application, then use AddScoped. Now let's discuss the last one, AddTransient, in next question. What is AddTransient method? AddTransient instance will not share at all, even within the request. Every time a new instance, remember, a new instance will be created. Suppose your application, let's take an example. Suppose your application gets a request to get some data from the database. Now you will create a database instance or object to get the data from the database, right? But there is a possibility that your application might have multiple databases A, B, and C. So in order to get the data from multiple databases in a single request, you have to open one request, you have to create one request object, then you have to kill that, and then you have to reset that object to a new database. So here you are switching between multiple databases, so that's why you are recreating the objects again and again. So that can be a case of using AddTransient. Here in the code, you can see how we can use AddTransient for data access object. So this is all about these three type of object instance in the application lifetime. Now in next part we will cover some more questions.